Well, more than half of baby boomers say running out of money during retirement, that's scarier than even dying. So clearly, financial trouble is a pretty frightening topic. If you have a smart money management plan, there's no need to worry about that, of course. But here to help us identify and overcome the most common financial fears is Martin Smith from Wealthcare Financial Group in Bethesda. Hey, Martin, good to see you.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm great. So there never does seem to be quite enough of the green stuff to go around.
No.
Many of us have problems when it comes to managing money, and of course we worry about money. So let's start with your first point about a specific fear, and that's losing your income. I guess losing a job.
Losing a job is a tremendous fear for people who are expecting to rely on their income for the future. And it's a big money concern that people have. I think one of the first things people should do in preparation for that, because unfortunately layoffs do happen from time to time, is set aside 6 to 9 months of your living expenses or your income for that rainy day. And that season could be long. In some cases it's a year or longer. And also establish a dedicated account where you can have money transferred to, so that if you need emergency savings, you're not robbing your 401k or your IRA to get those funds.
To be able to start this rainy day fund, that means we need to have a little extra while we are still employed. How do you come up with an extra, $50, $100 a month to sock away?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just a matter of cutting costs, looking at where you're spending your money. If you go to Starbucks on a regular basis, or if you're eating out at lunch rather than preparing meals at home, you could save money that way. But one of the things I think people should do is, and this is a second fear, is ask for a raise. Asking for a raise is quite uncomfortable for a lot of American workers. 41%, according to salary.com, of American workers never ask for a raise. However, 84% of bosses expect them to do so. So in preparation for that, you should do your research. Examine and look at comparable salaries and in the same positions, and consider the value that you bring to the organization and how you help fulfill the organization's mission. And then go in there and ask for the raise. That's something that people should do and definitely consider, because I think most employers are willing to offer that.
And hope that they don't laugh in your face?
Hopefully not.
What would be a ballpark percentage bump up in income that wouldn't be, considered astronomical, that would be, something serious that they might take a look at?
Well, I think you want to think about the rate of inflation. So if inflation's at 3 or 4%, perhaps maybe 4 or 5% above the rate of inflation. There's no sense in asking for a raise and just meeting inflation. Inflation goes higher, then you need more money. So you want to stay ahead of inflation.
And if you're not getting what you need at your current job, look elsewhere?
Look elsewhere. And a lot of employees are upgrading their skills. They're going to school, taking online classes in preparation for that. So definitely, if you bring a lot of value to the organization, and if you know that comparable salaries in like positions are slightly higher, and you're unsuccessful at getting a raise, then be prepared to look elsewhere.
Yeah, and you can always pick up a second job, right?
Absolutely.
Nights or weekends, and
Absolutely.
Bump up your salary as well. Those are good tips. Let's talk about talking about money with your significant other, whether it's your spouse or whomever. That's an issue many of us don't even want to go there.
Yes, it is.
Why are we so concerned about talking about money?
It's just, I think, an uncomfortable conversation for a lot of couples. It's taboo in some regard, and it's unfortunate. A lot of marriages, as you've probably heard, end because of money. So what you have to do is you have to have that conversation. You should set up monthly or quarterly meetings with your significant other and talk about the budget, talk about the income sources, determine who's responsible for what, and you have your respective roles, and then stick to it. And also, parents should have the same conversation with their children. A lot of parents don't talk about money with their children. I've met with hundreds and hundreds of families over the years, and I've seen many cases where a couple or a parent will say, I don't want our children to know everything that we have. And that makes it difficult, because if that parent passes away, the children don't know where the important documents are. They don't know where the insurance policies are and the brokerage statements. So you have to have that conversation with your family.
At what age do you suggest telling your children about all your assets?
Yeah, I think you start somewhat young. You may not expose everything with a teenager, but start having the conversation so it becomes sort of a tradition. The family, the children get used to talking about wealth and money and so forth. But definitely, I think when they're in their 20s and 30s, you need to start thinking about letting them know exactly, just full disclosure, telling them where things are, how much they have, how much they may receive in an inheritance.
And I guess the last item we should talk about is running out of money. That's another fear people have.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
Well, it's a good thing that people are living longer, so that's excellent. However, think about it, most corporations today are abandoning pension plans in favor of 401ks, and so that places a larger burden on the shoulders of the employee. So you have to think about how much you can comfortably set aside for retirement. Max out your 401k, max out your IRA, and know what your retirement income number is.
Martin Smith from Wealthcare Financial Group in Bethesda. Good advice. Thanks so much, Martin.
Thank you so much. It's always good to be here.